Hello, this is Biz Big Picture, connecting the dots to deliver you the big picture. Italy's UniCredit announced on September 23, 2024, that it has conditionally acquired 21% stake in Commerzbank, headquartered in Germany. The bank has further requested regulatory approval to increase its stake to up to 29.9%. On the surface, it may seem like just another M&A deal in a sea of many, but the market reaction has been anything but ordinary. Commerzbank CEO Bettina Orlopp has explicitly opposed this deal, and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has expressed negative sentiments, labeling the deal as unfriendly attacks and hostile takeovers. Meanwhile, ECB President Lagarde expressed her opinion that the deal was desirable. But why is this deal such a big deal? Let's unpack the story behind it. Commerzbank is Germany's third largest bank by assets. However, considering that DZ Bank, the second largest by assets, is a cooperative bank, some view Commerzbank and Deutsche Bank as the two pillars of the German commercial banking sector. First of all, it's clear that Commerzbank is a German bank. Its headquarters are in Frankfurt, Germany. 75% of its revenue comes from Germany, and the German government is its largest shareholder with a 12% stake. In the early 2000s, and before the Lehman Brothers crisis, the global economy experienced a prolonged period of prosperity, often referred to as the Goldilocks economy. Throughout this period of economic prosperity, Commerzbank seized opportunities to grow through mergers and acquisitions, significantly enhancing its global standing. Key acquisitions during this time included Eurohypo in 2006 and Dresdner Bank in 2009. However, in 2008, just as Commerzbank was about to pay Allianz for the acquisition of Dresdner Bank, the global financial crisis hit the economy. In short, both Commerzbank and Dresdner Bank became troubled institutions, making it difficult for Commerzbank to fulfill its M&A payment obligations to Allianz. The global economy was contracting, and Southern Europe was facing severe fiscal challenges. To prevent the collapse of both institutions, the German government decided to support the merger between Commerzbank and Dresdner Bank, and provided Commerzbank with 16.4 billion euros in convertible securities and an additional 1.8 billion euro in equity, acquiring a 25% stake in the process in 2009. In 2013, Commerzbank raised more capital, but the German government opted out of the offering, causing its stake to drop to 16.5%. This ownership level held steady until 2023. After 15 years of holding a stake, the German government began to reduce its ownership in Commerzbank in 2024. The first step was taken in September 2024, when it sold a 4.5% stake out of its total 16.5% holding to Italy's UniCredit. However, a problem has arisen in the German government's seemingly smooth commerce exit strategy. UniCredit disclosed that it currently owns around 9% of Commerzbank's shares. Furthermore, subject to regulatory approval, the bank has the ability to acquire an additional 11.5% stake through derivative transactions. UniCredit also filed an application with regulators to increase its ownership to a maximum of 29.9%. Currently, excluding derivative contracts, the German government holds the largest stake in Commerzbank. Nevertheless, if the derivative contracts are exercised, UniCredit will surpass the German government to become the majority shareholder. It's worth noting that both Bank of America and Barclays are known to be supportive of UniCredit in this deal. Considering their stakes, UniCredit's ownership in Commerzbank could potentially reach 35%, signifying a virtual takeover of Commerzbank. The German government denounced UniCredit's actions as a hostile takeover, strongly criticizing the bank. Why is this a problem? Let's first take a look at UniCredit. UniCredit is the second largest bank in Italy and the 15th largest in Europe. However, its nationality is a bit ambiguous. Although its headquarters are located in Milan, Italy, only 37% of its loan assets are in Italy. The majority shareholders are the American investment firm BlackRock and the German insurer Allianz. Italian shareholders account for only 16% of the total, while American shareholders, including BlackRock, make up the largest portion at 32%. British shareholders constitute 19%. In conclusion, it's most accurate to view UniCredit as a global financial institution headquartered in Italy. However, for the sake of simplicity, we will refer to UniCredit as an Italian financial company throughout this video. By acquiring Germany's HVB in 2005 and Italy's Capitalia in 2007, UniCredit solidified its position among the leading European banks. These mergers enabled the bank to establish itself as a top-tier banking institution in Central and Eastern Europe, with the exception of certain countries such as Germany. In 1997, Creditanstalt was acquired by Bank Austria. Subsequently, in 2001, HVB acquired Bank Austria. UniCredit's acquisition of HVB propelled it to the forefront of the banking market. However, as the Goldilocks era came to an end, UniCredit began to suffer from losses. The bank recorded substantial losses in 2013 and 2016, and again in 2020 due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. We will discuss the losses in more detail later. This deal involves Italy's second-largest financial institution, UniCredit, attempting to gain control of Germany's third-largest bank, Commerzbank. Should this merger materialize, the resulting combined entity would rank as the 10th largest financial institution in Europe, comparable in asset size to Deutsche Bank. Furthermore, given that UniCredit has operated in the German market for nearly 2 decades since acquiring HVB, the German financial market is familiar territory for the bank. Given Commerzbank's significant exposure in Poland, UniCredit's acquisition would expand its financial footprint in Central and Eastern Europe. To begin with, let's compare the key metrics of the two banks. Overall, UniCredit outperforms Commerzbank in terms of size. Its market cap, total assets, and net income are all higher. While both banks have historically shown relatively low return on assets, UniCredit's has been slightly better. Although Commerzbank has a slightly higher capital adequacy ratio, the two can be considered roughly on par. However, Commerzbank has a higher credit rating. Could this be influenced by the country's credit rating? UniCredit has the same BBB rating as Italy. It seems difficult for UniCredit to raise its credit rating unless it increases its exposure to advanced economies. Given that credit ratings significantly impact funding costs, this could be one of the reasons why UniCredit is interested in acquiring a German company. In summary, UniCredit seems to be aiming to expand its coverage in Eastern Europe and increase its exposure in Germany to create a more stable business environment. Let's look at this from a different perspective. When considering Germany, 3 sectors immediately spring to mind: the automotive industry, transportation, and the financial services. Of course, these associations may differ from person to person. Finance often brings to mind the ECB and Frankfurt. In the heart of Frankfurt, a towering, luminous building stands. It is the headquarters of Commerzbank. The Commerzbank Tower, reaching a height of 259 meters, is one of the tallest buildings in Europe, excluding Russia. Unless there are any unexpected developments, ownership of this landmark building and company will be transferred to an Italian bank. Since the introduction of the euro, Germany has been riding high on the back of its unwavering exports. Eurozone countries are required to keep their budget deficits below 3% of GDP. Germany, with its robust exports and strong tax base, has found it relatively easy to comply with this rule. But other countries, particularly those in Southern Europe, have struggled to meet this target. Germany has come to be seen as the model student, while Southern European countries are perceived as underperformers. However, Germany seems to be having difficulty accepting a large financial institution from a so-called underperforming country, acquiring one of its own major banks. Then, let's examine why UniCredit has become a symbol of pride for Southern European countries. In a country's market, supply and demand interact to determine prices, and these prices efficiently allocate the nation's resources. This is what Adam Smith famously called the invisible hand. Just as in domestic markets, the invisible hand operates in international trade through the exchange rate. Exchange rates can be seen as the price at which foreign currencies are valued in terms of domestic currency. Let's take Germany as an example. If their automotive exports are strong, it results in a higher influx of foreign currency. This leads to an appreciation of the domestic currency and a depreciation of foreign currencies. From the perspective of German manufacturers, to maintain the same level of domestic profit, they need to increase their prices denominated in foreign currencies. With the price increase in foreign markets, sales will decline, leading to a decrease in foreign currency inflows and consequently reducing exporters' profits. Through this mechanism, exchange rates contribute to maintaining equilibrium in international trade. Now, let's consider the opposite scenario, using a southern European country as an example. Due to their mild climates and abundant cultural heritage, southern European countries have successfully cultivated robust tourism industries. Suppose the euro had not been introduced and the country was experiencing economic difficulties. Then, the value of the domestic currency will decrease. Foreigners can buy more goods or services for the same amount of foreign currency. Naturally, we can expect a significant surge in foreign tourists. The increased number of tourists will play a significant role in helping the economy recover from the crisis. However, with the introduction of the euro, this self-adjusting mechanism of exchange rates became ineffective. Despite the economic challenges in southern Europe, the stable exchange rate has limited any substantial growth in tourism. In 2002, the euro was introduced to replace the individual currencies of the member states of the Eurozone. The EU was established in 1993 with the goal of creating a strong economic bloc to compete with the US and China. The euro was a crucial milestone in this economic integration. The reunification of Germany in 1990 prompted France to propose a single European currency as a means of counterbalancing the growing economic power of a unified Germany. Germany, while initially resistant, ultimately agreed to this proposal. Contrary to initial expectations, the euro had a disproportionate impact on different Eurozone members. While it significantly benefited export-driven economies like Germany, it placed a heavy burden on service-oriented economies, such as southern European countries. When the economic crisis struck southern Europe, it became apparent that they were limited in their ability to implement fiscal policies. Moreover, monetary policy was centralized under the ECB, and the self-adjusting mechanism of exchange rate didn't work. It has become clear that the Eurozone was structured in a way that created an uneven playing field, putting southern European countries at a disadvantage. Hungarian central bank governor György Matolcsy describes the euro as a trap. In particular, he described it as a too-good-to-be-true trap for Germany. It was at this point that UniCredit entered the game. UniCredit has been slowly building its strength from a disadvantaged position, and it says it will acquire a top-tier German bank that is in the advantageous position on an unlevel playing field. Will things be more balanced now? But the German government says no.
Nope.
Commerzbank has cited three main reasons for its opposition to this deal. First, the risk of a credit rating downgrade. Second, the potential for reduced government support in times of crisis. And third, the anticipated decrease in loan assets to clients who have overlapping exposures with HVB. First, Commerzbank has enjoyed the protection of the German government's AAA credit rating, but this protection could be downgraded to BBB. A credit downgrade would increase funding costs, making this deal less appealing. Second, Commerzbank received substantial support from the German government in 2009. However, what if UniCredit becomes the majority shareholder? Should the German government still provide support in case of a crisis? What if there is an economic crisis in Italy? It seems like a headache. Last, banks aim to diversify their risks. Therefore, they limit the credit lines provided to individual clients. However, since some clients may use both HVB and Commerzbank, and credit lines are not simply added up between the two banks, some clients may experience a reduction in their outstanding loan balances as a result. In other words, when UniCredit acquires Commerzbank, the combined assets may not be 1 + 1 = 2, but rather 1 + 1 = 1.9. Although the German government has not explicitly stated its position on this deal, it is evident that they are opposed to it. But if the ECB gives the green light, what options will the German government have? German government seems to have a few options on the table: a white knight, reduced competition, concerns about risk management capabilities, and a dual headquarters. Let's explore each one. Finding a white knight is a potential strategy. Commerzbank has been the subject of takeover rumors from both BNP Paribas and Deutsche Bank in the past, but none of these bids were successful. Although there were internal factors at play within BNP Paribas, it is widely believed that the German government was hesitant to allow a foreign takeover. Deutsche Bank reportedly considered the potential asset reduction due to duplicate customers and the competitive landscape in the German market. In any cases, despite potential German government support, it would be challenging to compete for a larger stake against the other party, which has already secured a nearly 21% interest. Another potential argument against the deal is the weakening of competition. If the merger leads to increased market concentration and reduced competition, harming German consumers, it could be grounds for rejection. However, the German banking market does not appear to be overly concentrated. Asset-based market shares suggest a relatively low level of concentration among German banks. The third card is concerns about the risk management capability. Capital adequacy and past loss performance will be the main evaluation criteria. This part is a bit tricky. UniCredit recognized significant losses in 2013 and 2016. However, in 2013, they conducted a big bath to clear out all the losses that had not been addressed up until that point, ahead of the ECB inspection. This means they had not been honest up until then. The losses incurred in 2013 and 2016 were larger than the profits generated over the 8 years from 2007 to 2015. In other words, it can be argued that their risk management was not excellent. While it showed improved performance since the COVID-19 crisis, with record-breaking results in 2023, its historical track record is indicative of a high-risk, high-return business model. Therefore, it's difficult to attach much significance to their recent profits in terms of stability. In other words, it may be possible to cite their risk management capabilities as a reason to oppose the merger, rather than focusing on a decrease in competition. The German government may make a pragmatic decision. If UniCredit acquires Commerzbank, it is expected that German legal entities will control over 60% of the combined group's assets. Considering the size of these assets, the German government might request that UniCredit dual headquarter its operations in both Italy and Germany. We'll have to wait and see how this develops. There was a vote in early October 2024 on imposing anti-dumping duties on Chinese EVs. EU countries were divided. Check out my video Volkswagen in Crisis for the full story. 10 countries, including France, voted in favor of imposing the tariff, while 5 countries, including Germany, opposed it. 12 countries, including Spain, abstained. As a result of the vote, the EU will impose anti-dumping duties on Chinese EVs, which is likely to lead to a trade dispute with China. The outcome of this vote reflects the considerations of China's threat of trade retaliation and the relationship with Germany, and this vote has revealed the division within the EU. Assuming the ECB approves UniCredit's acquisition of Commerzbank shares, the German government's response will be a critical juncture in determining whether the Eurozone's divisions will be healed or exacerbated. According to ECB guidelines, a decision is expected within the next 2 to 3 months. However, the timeline could be delayed if the German financial authority is reluctant to cooperate. All eyes are on this deal to see what happens next. Biz Big Picture.